All units, 1010S at 36 and Park. Repeat, all units be advised. Shots fired at Fisk Towers.
Yuri, I'm here.
What do you see?
Find the rest. Boss wants them dead.
Looks like the demons are moving in on Fisk's territory.
You got this?
I got this.
Fisk's men have fled through the building. Eliminate them.
Should've worn a helmet.
You got what you came for. You don't need to kill us, too.
Fisk's territory is ours now.
Not today.
Spider-Man! Tell the boss is here!
Hey, Willie.
You.
Nice jumpsuit. Slimming.
Stay out of my business.
Wait, the demons. Who's their leader?
Keep my men alive and maybe I'll tell you.
Saving bad guys from other bad guys. Not how I thought today would go. Hey, big guy. Is that a Higgs field? That's actually really cool. Fisk, your men are safe. Your turn. Who runs the demons?
You're about to find out. Check the roof.
He's here? Martin Lee. Oh, come on. No, 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 no! Let's go! Did that just happen? Yeah.
I'm getting reports of a helicopter with a wrecking ball.
It's complicated. Turns out Martin Lee is running the demons.
The guy who runs the homeless shelter?
Like I said, complicated. Sit tight, Yuri. I got this. Please, let me got this.
That helicopter is destroying the city.
I know.
You need to bring it down.
I know.
Maybe you could superhero a little faster?
Working on it, Yuri. Too close. Okay, Lee, here I come! Hi, is this the flight to Newark? Why are you doing this?
Because no one else will! Ah!
Lee, this is crazy! This isn't you!
You don't know me!
Need a plan. Need a plan real fast. I guess this is the plan! Come on, Pete, you got this! You got this, you got this, you got this! Please don't screw this up! Mr. Lee? It's over. Come on, dude, let's go. Miles!
The greatest thing about working on a Spider-Man game is that you're working on a Spider-Man game. The hardest thing is that it's a Spider-Man game. We really care about storytelling here at Insomniac.
And I think that's how we go into every day we come here. There's this push to really get it right.
One of the most compelling things about Spider-Man is just when Peter Parker and Spider-Man's worlds collide. And we've tried really hard to weave the two stories together to create a story that is not necessarily just a superhero story, but a human story as well.
So this Spider-Man is a little different. He's older, he's 23, so he's been Spider-Man for 8 years, and kind of like an athlete in the prime of his career, he's starting to get good at the Spider-Man thing.
The nice thing about playing an experienced Spider-Man is that he's already familiar with his powers, right? He's not just discovering them.
We always think of Spider-Man as, we call him, the acrobatic improviser. He's looking for not only how he can take advantage of the way the enemies are positioned, but what around him. Could he use this object to grab with his webs and throw at an enemy? We want people to not only see the enemies in front of them, but the environment around, to take advantage of both of them.
He also knows that the criminals out in the city know how he works as well, so he's got to mix it up.
So even though he is more experienced, the challenges are going to be bigger than he's ever faced before.
Spider-Man has a rich history of having great stories. The core of our story is this duality between being Peter Parker and being Spider-Man. What's cool about Mr. Negative is that he also has a duality. He's got his positive side as Martin Lee, who runs the homeless shelters in the city, but he also has his negative side.
When Peter makes the connection that the leader of the inner demons is the guy who my aunt works for, we got the perfect collision of those two worlds.
So many people have their own vision of what Spider-Man should look like, what he should sound like, and in the end, we just have to put a new and fresh twist on who he is.
And for us, it's really, really important to deliver those big spectacle moments, those near impossible scenarios that only someone like Spider-Man can survive, and put you in that action.
You got this, you got this, you got this!
We understand what this character means to people in here, and we're making this game with a lot of heart, and we're gonna do whatever it takes to give people the ultimate Spider-Man experience, the game that they've been waiting for.
PlayStation. Spider-Man game developed by Insomniac and announced at E3 this year. The detail of the city is incredible. Minute features such as the pedestrians in the distance would just be blurs on an HD TV set, but here they are crisp characters. As for Spider-Man himself, the texture of the suit is breathtakingly clear in a way that it could never have been before.
People see me and think they're safer. But it's not really me they're seeing. Probably for the best. Knowing everything hinges on a guy from Queens sounds as scary as it feels. No pressure, right?
Welcome back, everybody. We're going to talk about Spider-Man, but first, I need some help from you. We have a few episodes of PlayStation Underground ready to go, ready to publish, but we don't know which one we want to air first. So,
why not let them decide? Yeah,
great time to ask everyone else to decide for us. So go to twitter.com/PlayStation, and we're going to be publishing a poll, and you can choose which episode of Underground you want to see first. Now, this poll's only going to be open for a few minutes. We're going to show the winner after we talk about Spider-Man. So you need to get down there right now if you're watching this and vote for which episode of Underground. We're going to push those polls live. I'm going to do it telepathically. With mind control
no way.
And with a little help from our publishing pals. Thanks, Becca.
Okay.
So right now, we should be sending that tweet out. So go vote on which Underground episode you want to see, and we'll toss to that at the end of this segment.
Sweet.
So anyway,
sounds good. Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. So we just obviously, you know, we talked to the folks from Insomniac yesterday about Spider-Man, which is looking aces, looking so good on PS4. I can't wait for it. The three of us got to go into the behind closed doors presentation that they gave this morning, where we got to see somebody actually play through that gameplay session live.
Right.
And a few things happened a little bit differently, and we saw how the game actually looks in action.
Right.
What do you think, Malik?
I mean, I think a lot of people who saw the trailer at the E3 press conference were assuming that all that stuff was scripted and it was a little bit on rails. But we learned from our behind closed door look at it that that's not the case, that you can truly fail at all those things. As a matter of fact, there was a couple of like little sequences that look like set pieces, I guess because they just look so good, but he actually didn't do them right. He actually like flew into the sign, had to go around and all that. But
there was the part with the big steel beam where he like takes out the guy standing in front of it.
Yeah.
He actually did that differently.
Right.
In
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
session that we saw. He was standing somewhere else, and it's just like this. At certain points, the L1 icon will light up on an environmental object, and it'll tell you, like in the corner, press L1 to do whatever. It's like contextual.
Yeah,
so he just hit L1, and Spidey, webbed that thing and swung it around and hit the guy.
Let's give a quick shout out to their sound team, because the ding ding ding
that was
like
dope.
knocking all three of the henchmen, the hench bros down. I also want to say, I feel like, and maybe you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like during the swinging sections, before we get into the big helicopter chase, when he's kind of traversing between the towers, I think he took some different routes.
He did.
It felt like he kind of luxuriated a little bit, like outside, kind of swinging around for a while, which is really cool.
Yeah, I think he wanted to show off a little bit just how free roaming it is, and just how fluid the web slinging is.
It really is an open world, and he was just kind of like zipping around doing the swinging and the web catapult thing and all that. Like, man.
I can't believe, I have to say this, I can't believe during that opening sequence, when that camera goes all the way up, it follows Peter, then you get right behind him, and gameplay starts, and you're just like, so like that's it. That's just how this game looks.
I thought this was a cutscene.
I mean, it's incredible. I mean, I really want to like give a huge shout out to the team at Insomniac, because like obviously very passionate, long-running and experienced developers, but I feel like this has just been elevated them to a whole nother level. It's just incredible. Looking.
I was really impressed by the music as well during this demo, especially during combat. It makes you feel like super inspired and excited, and like you're actually Spider-Man fighting these bad guys. It's got that awesome like swelling action, like Hollywood blockbuster style music going on. It's so cool.
You're right about that. You're right, and it kind of situates depending on what you do during combat as well. So, and I like that they actually mixed that in. Speaking of combat, that's another thing I noticed too. It kind of rivals some of other action adventure games out there. The way they did the combat system.
Very like free flowing.
Free flowing. You have your counter button, so when something happens, you see the spider sense go off, and then you press the button, and then he reacts to it. And he does something different every time. Like sometimes I notice he would like shoot a web into somebody's face. Sometimes he'd weave and dodge a bullet and then shoot the web. Sometimes
he just like acrobatics over around.
Yeah, but it was very
the animation is out of control. Like it's all, there's so much going on, but it feels so fluid. It's like, I mean, it really is like watching a comic book come to life. It's just incredible.
It's incredible. And another note on the combat, lots of aerial combo stuff going on here.
OTGs,
like
off the ground, let's go. There it goes, he just did it. OTG right there.
I don't know if we're going so far as to say that Spider-Man is esports now. It looks great. It looks absolutely just bonkers.
He looked like the Spider-Man from Marvel vs. Capcom. Like that's how he looked, and I was just like, yes.
So, yeah, look at this combat we're seeing here, and obviously this is the heavy that he finds, and I love how he remarks on the technology, the shield that this guy has, and he says, "Whoa, that's actually pretty cool." Instead of like being off guard by it.
Yeah, and it's like you can get that sense of like Peter Parker and Spider-Man with like all the quips. The performance. I don't know who plays this version of Spider-Man. Phenomenal though. I mean, it's like a perfect voice. It's a great performance. It has that sort of nervous energy, but also that confidence because again, this is like an experienced Peter Parker.
Yeah, he's 23.
Yep.
He's ready to go now.
He's Spider-Man.
Right.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's zip lining and web slinging all over the place.
I mean, we've been talking about this all E3 about how excited we are for Spider-Man. How excited I specifically am for Spider-Man. I can't wait for it. It looks great. Anything else that you guys noticed from
just very small Easter eggs. Like he's talking to Yuri. She's like the Captain Yuri. She's like the police captain. He's
Watanabe?
And in the comic book, she eventually becomes Wraith. And so that kind of led me to think like, oh, is there a possible like maybe cooperative element that they might add? Who knows what that could lead to, or maybe from
Malik is speculating.
I'm speculating right now.
You'll have to go over to the Insomniac guys and like poke them and start asking questions.
Yeah. But that was pretty cool, and it's always good seeing the bad guys like Fisk and Mr. Negative.
Yeah, so I didn't actually know this character, and you were like, oh yeah, this is a character.
Yeah. Mr. Negative actually has an alter ego, which is Martin Lee. Martin Lee's a good guy, and he's a philanthropist, and everybody loves him. And that's kind of like the conflict with this whole gameplay that we saw. You know, you can hear Peter Parker saying, like, this is not you. I don't want to do this to you, you know? And that's really cool that they're adding this in, because I think a lot of people are going to be conflicted after playing this.
Yeah, I didn't know who Mr. Negative was until this reveal happened, but now I want to learn more.
Malik guided me. He was like, let me lay down all the lore of this character right now.
I've been hanging around some comic book nerds for the last several years.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, and it sounds like Insomniac. It sounds like they know what they're doing, too, so I'm sure we'll see a ton of like crazy stuff when the game comes out.
But then last thing for me before we wrap up, okay? The helicopter scene at the end, all right?
Yes.
This is the kind of spectacle that you really have to stop and appreciate, that like every window, every beam, every piece of shattered glass, all the NPCs or, you know, whatever, the characters walking around, you know, all this stuff is being built by Insomniac.
Yes.
It's not like they just threw a camera through the city and they're like, here's the city, it already existed. I mean,
let's go download like a model of New York and build the game.
I mean, it's really incredible, and I just want to give them, you know, the credit where it's due, because it's unbelievable. I mean, these scenes that we're seeing here are just the amount of detail that's going on, the fluidity of the animation, and just the pure spectacle of it.
Yeah.
I you know, there's nothing like it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's out of control. So that is Spider-Man. We are obviously all very excited about it. It's coming to PS4 in 2018. So we did do that poll right before we started this. Sounds like the winner is Danganronpa.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go. Let's go.
Let's go watch a new episode of PlayStation Underground.
PlayStation.
Who wants to talk about Spider-Man coming to PS4? I sure do.
Me too.
That's right. And we've got Brian from Insomniac Games, and we've got Bill from Marvel Publishing. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey,
Thanks for having us.
It's great to be here.
This is incredible. Spidey brought the house down last night. Was sort of the penultimate moment in the big PlayStation press conference, and man, I think it's the one that was this one's been trending for like the last 16 hours.
It's I tweeted last night, it was like kind of a childhood dream come true. And it's like, it's pretty amazing. I still like can't believe we're actually making a Spider-Man game.
I could just as easily sit here and watch this trailer again than talk to you, but I have to keep the show going.
Okay, all right.
So Bill, tell me, Marvel, PlayStation, Insomniac, Spider-Man, all together. It seems like a winning combination.
It's amazing that, you know, we waited for the planets to align. This I think Spider-Man represents a new beginning, a new era for Marvel games. This is going to be the most ambitious game yet that we've done, and we wanted to wait till we had the perfect partnership, and that happened when Insomniac and Sony came together, and we just couldn't be more excited to really set the bar for all the Spider-Man fans, so that Spidey could swing right over that bar.
Oh, nice.
That was very good rationale.
Thank you. Poetic.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's been a dream journey. Like, I remember, you know, when I first kind of heard about this rumblings in the office, I went into Ted's office, who was our owner, and he goes, so what do you think about, you know, working with Sony and Marvel? And I just said, like, well, of course we got to do it. And I was begging him. I'm like, we got to do this. And I said, oh, by the way, I'd really like to be the creative director on this project. And, you know, he agreed, thank God. And it's just been a whirlwind since. I mean, to keep this under wraps for so long has been like, I've been waiting for that yesterday. I think we all in Sonic have been waiting for that moment just to finally say, okay, it's here. I can say Spider-Man in public, finally.
I know. And I mean, look at this animation, though. I want to point this out. Obviously, Insomniac Games has a very proud legacy with Ratchet & Clank, Sunset Overdrive, a number of great games over a long, long time. It feels like the culmination of everything you guys have been working on.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think there's a lot of elements that we're bringing to all our different games, whether it's our world building, whether it's, you know, traversal, which we did a lot of in Sunset Overdrive, taking those lessons we learned and injecting them into Spider-Man. The humor that we've had in Ratchet, bring it, you know, that's a big part of the Spider-Man character, and making sure, you know, in working with Bill and, you know, Mike Jones, our executive producer over Marvel, making sure that we're being really true to the character, but at the same time, mixing things up. That's what we want to make sure that people understand, that, yes, we want to be really respectful of the franchise, but at the same time, we want to surprise people at the same time.
So we're just going to keep running this trailer over and over because it looks great. I told the producers, just keep looping the trailer. That's all people want to see. But I'm told there are a number of Easter eggs in this trailer.
Yeah.
If you watch through, they're planted. They're there very quick, but they are there.
Yes.
And I think it gives a hint of the storytelling that infuses every stage of the game. When you talk about Insomniac and Marvel, it's all about storytelling. And that is at the heart of everything we do, and that is especially true, and it's been crystallized here with Spider-Man in this game. So yeah, there are Easter eggs, and they all speak to the story of the game.
Oh.
Yeah, and I think, like, if you look at, whether it's the films, the Netflix series, when they announce something, there's always a little something for everybody, and we really wanted to make sure that we did our job as well, in giving people things to talk about and speculate on, and there's nuggets here and there that definitely, if you've been watching the trailer and scrubbing through it, you can find some pretty cool stuff.
And I think all that comes from what you said earlier about childhood dream.
Yeah.
The funniest thing was last week,
we
were at the offices, because the Marvel Games office is like 10 minutes away from the Insomniac office, so we're there back and forth, and we were there the last time, and we were having lunch, and we're all sitting around, and we all just started talking about what was it, a comic book? Was it a cartoon? When did you first see
Marvel
Spidey?
Memories,
Did
that's
you
what
have,
I called it,
we busted out the underoos, like I had those, and we all talked about our childhood memories, and everyone at the table all began at an extremely early age and are lifelong fans of the character, and that is what everyone is pouring into the game. It's like we're remembering who we were back then and saying, I wish I could do that, and now we're doing it.
There's 20, 30 years of pent-up interest here that you're pouring into this game.
Yeah. And, it's just, we understand how important this character is to a lot of people. It's important to us, myself, everybody at Insomniac, and we just want to do it justice. I think that's the thing, is we just want to make sure that people walk away unbelievably happy. And this is kind of the first taste of that journey that we're going to be going on.
So far, so good, based on what I'm seeing in social media, and based on what I'm hearing. So I know I'm not going to grill you guys too hard, because I know it's early days on this game. A couple details, though, I do want to sort out up front. So this is not related to any of the cinematic stuff that's going on right now, right?
It's standalone. I think we've been inspired by everything that you 100%. Said, all the different mediums that Marvel has, whether it's film, animation, live action, comic books, even like just years of, hey, t-shirts of what does Spider-Man mean? So we're looking at everything, and we're blending it all together, but it's standalone.
Yep.
All new story, all new world. We want everyone involved in this to tell their story.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's about respecting the traditions of the franchise, but mixing things up. It's that blending, and I mean, honestly, that's the thing that I've been so surprised with, but also just so excited about that. Working with Bill and Mike and everybody at Marvel, going well, can we try this? Sure. What, just having. We have a lot of freedom, and and that's been a surprise. I mean, I've never worked on a Marvel, Spider-Man, or any licensed product before, and just being able to have that freedom and crafting this unique universe.
I think that's
I'm
glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that.
We do like these guys a lot.
It's ingrained. Like when you're at Marvel, when you're brought up through Marvel, it's ingrained in us we are a creator-friendly company, and when we are lucky enough to work with people with such great talent, we want them to do what they do.
Yep.
So I remember on the comic book side, we would hire in writers and artists, and we would say, what is your vision? How can I help you express your vision?
Yep.
Now, we are caretakers, if you will, of the brand, but the Marvel brand, we're always stretching, we're always challenging, we're always moving the characters forward. So it's just ingrained in us to work with the best, help them tell their vision, experiment, put it out there, and let them live your fantasy.
So if you ever want to get excited about Marvel, talk to this guy for
I'm so fired up.
5 minutes.
I'm so fired up.
I remember the first conversation I ever had with Bill. I just sat there and I took about 7 pages of notes within an hour. And one thing that he said right off the bat that I still to this day talk about, he goes, the best stories are when Peter's world and Spider-Man worlds collide. And we have taken that and just throughout every day of this development, we have, are we hitting that? And that's, being able to have access to, Bill and Mike and everybody at Marvel and just saying, are we doing that the right way? You know, and then I'm asking us, you know, from the development side, how we can tell that story. It's been, like I said, it's been a fun, I mean, even just from the design of the suit, you know, having that flexibility to try something a little different.
I think it's my favorite suit out of them all.
Thank you.
Awesome. Out of them all.
We like that.
There's people. I know people have questions about it.
Yeah.
And we will answer them.
Yeah.
There are answers for everything.
Yeah.
And again, it all comes down to love of the character and telling our own story.
Yeah.
And there is thought put into every aspect of the game, and there's definite thought put into that awesome suit right there.
We ask the question why a lot to ourselves. Like, well, why are we doing this? How does it tie into the universe? How does it tie into our main character? What's the ramp like cause and effect? We're always talking about that because we want everything to be buttoned up, and you know, we talk a lot about cohesive, being a cohesive package. I feel like that's what makes a great video game, a great story. We always want it. We don't want it to, you know, extend ourselves just because we want to fulfill that. We want to make sure everything feels really cohesive because that's what Marvel does really, really well.
We know that a few things about the title. We know that Peter Parker's a little older in this one.
More experienced, for sure.
A little more experienced, yeah. Now, how does that, you know, influence things?
I think it's from, you know, the way he moves around the city. From, you know, you saw that scene of him, you know, running through that coffee shop. You know, parkour. You know, more. Our swinging is just going to be more than just swinging through. You know, you saw that shots of the city. We want him, you know, flesh out his traversal set. So definitely going to see more of that. But just the way he fights, it's going to be more of an experienced, you know, someone who's been doing this for more than a couple of years. So we definitely want to make sure that his fighting style reflects that, for sure.
And
go ahead, Bill. Sorry.
I was going to say, yeah, as you say, everything that he does, you see that he's learned, he's experienced, he's really mastering his skills. And you know, as Stan said, what Marvel does is put the human in the superhuman. Mm-hmm. So like us, we learn from our experiences.
Yeah.
Hopefully we grow, we learn from them, we get better, and we just wanted to think, we're always thinking, what would Peter do? What would Peter do? And put ourselves in his wall-crawling shoes.
Yeah.
And he learns,
you know,
he gets better.
Whenever like, you know, I talk to the team or talk to Bill and Mike, or, you know, we talk a lot about Peter Parker. For us, Peter is as integral as Spider-Man. We talk a lot about the story, telling the story of the man behind the mask. Like, to us, Peter's as important as the Spider-Man character. We really want to make sure that, and I think that's what, whether it's the comics, the animation, whether it's live action, like, they're always telling it's more than just about the guy in the suit or the woman in the suit. We want to tell
the person.
It's the person.
It's the person.
Again, a very human story.
Marvel always does a great job. You think of the films as you meet the characters before they get their powers.
Yeah.
You fall in love with them.
Yeah.
And they get the powers, and that just makes their life more complicated and interesting. And so you care about him up there on swinging through the rooftops because you care about Peter.
Yeah.
And it's all connected.
See, I told you he's really good at this.
I got to read some Spider-Man right now.
Yes.
Yes, you do.
That's awesome. So we're almost out of time, but I was hoping I know again it's very early days, but from like a mechanics perspective, like any kind of abilities, anything like that, are there some new things we're going to see Spider-Man do here?
I think we're gonna push him in some areas, whether it's traversal, whether it's fighting, whether it's just open world exploration. We're gonna be really tapping into everything. You know, Peter's a really smart guy.
Yeah.
How does that tie into not just, you know, his life as Peter Parker, but when he brings it to the fight? So we definitely want to tap into, you know, he's a really smart dude. How does that play out when you're actually playing the game, when he's in the suit?
Spider-Man at his full potential, at his full power.
Yes.
That's
100%,
awesome.
Yes.
I am super sold. Spider-Man's coming to PS4. Do we have a name for this thing yet, or is it just sort of Spider-Man right now?
Spider-Man for right now.
Spider-Man for right now. All right. Well, that works for me.
Thank you.
You guys,
I was gonna say, follow the hashtag on Twitter.
Yep.
Follow us on Twitter, and as the months come, we'll be talking more and more about.
We have a lot more to talk about.
Game.
I'm sure you do. I am sure you do. Guys, it's been awesome talking here about Spider-Man.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, I mean, clearly one of the big highlights last night from PlayStation's E3 press conference. The crowd went nuts. I mean, what did you think of that show, by the way?
I've been to 16 or 17 E3s, and that was probably one of the best press conferences I've ever gone to. You know, the Sony staff did an amazing job. It was just game after game after game. And that orchestra.
The orchestra, and the men's chorus, and
awesome.
and the woman over there on the drum, and then everything that was descending, and it was
great.
Crazy cool.
I love going to those press conferences, and that was a hell of an experience.
Hell of a show.
That's awesome. So, guys, thanks so much for stopping by. Spider-Man, it's on the lips of every gamer, I think, across the world.
PlayStation